I remember my dad always just waxing poetic about how awesome Kramer is, and he's cool. I love. He's got his lightning round. He's very entertaining. I mean, I respect anybody who's willing to take any stock. I've seen him take even these like micro cap shipping stocks, but he's still got something to say about it.
Yeah. I mean, my dad was, admittedly, like my dad and I were very different people, which is okay, because that's what makes life so interesting, really. But, the things that I admired about him were definitely his work ethic, his loyalty to people, his perseverance when a challenge came up. I really, those are, I think, the three things that I learned from him so well. Again, he was an engineer by trade. So, we viewed the world very differently, but, the core values and the foundation are certainly the same.
Yeah, amazing. And the character does come through. And I know you have an entire chapter devoted to advice. So that's beautiful.
That's right.
I just love it. All right, so there you go. Now if you're writing your book, go talk to Eric. Reach out to Eric.
Yeah, honestly, since I wrote the book so long ago, I don't know how much current advice I can give you, but I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody about the whole process of writing it.
Fair enough. Well, you know what? I don't want to wind it down, but I feel like we got to save some time for my favorite section of the interview, which is the 7. So this is the challenging part where I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Sure.
I may not have Kramer's energy, but we're going to try and see if we can channel.
We're going to pretend.
So here it is, the 7. Okay, so you're up to the challenge, Eric.
I'm up to the challenge. I'm up to any
All right. Let's enter the 7.
Got it.
Eric, if you could be known for just one thing, what would it be?
To create a legacy for my family and future generations of family through commercial and multifamily real estate.
What is the greatest lesson in leadership you have learned as an entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a good question, George. I think the greatest lesson that I have learned is always trust your gut and your instinct. Because if you have an inner voice telling you something, listen to it. Because every time I've ignored it, things have gone wrong.
Oh, love it. Yeah, everybody gets into a bad deal at some point.
Yep.
Good advice. What personal characteristic has been most pivotal to your success?
Definitely perseverance. Yes, you cannot give up as a real estate investor. There's going to be daily challenges that you face every single day, both in business and in life. And if you can meet those challenges with grace and humility and tackle those problems with massive action, good things will eventually happen.
Right. Now, I figured you might say that because I think in your chapter 3, you're quoting Dale Carnegie, and I know he's all about perseverance, tenacity, stick-to-itiveness, determination, whatever you want to call it. So great character trait. And now I got my boxo questions here.
Oh, the box. All right.
The box is
Get
out.
into the box, George.
So just tell me when to stop cutting, and we'll take the top card, and this is going to be something completely random.
All right, you can stop right now.
All right. If you live to be 100, would you rather have a sharp mind or a fit body?
Oh, that's such a great question. I'm going to say fit body.
Okay.
Because I work out every day between 5 and 5:15. I get to the gym. So working out has always been a part of my life, especially, and I kicked it into high gear after my dad died as well. So I don't know. You know what? Maybe my mind could take a rest at 100 years old. I'd rather have a fit body.
Eric, I got to say, that's got to be the most interesting answer to that question that I've ever heard. Without your health, you have nothing.
Right.
And wow.
It's so true. I mean, look at it this way, George. Like when you're 100 years old, people expect to help you because they're going to think you're a little forgetful, perhaps, or that you can't remember things as well as you can. Yeah. But hey, if you got your health and you're in a good body, you could have help along the way.
Wow. Got to tell you this story. Just yesterday, I was listening to YouTube video, something like The Wisdom of the Arab World. And this was the quotes. Health is a crown of healthy people, but which only the unhealthy can see.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I think so many people, and it's not, their fault for anything, but people take their health for granted all the time. You have it every day, so you're not going to necessarily pay attention to it. The only time you pay attention to it is when you start to lose it. So it's just blessings every day that you're healthy, happy, friends, family, yourself, the whole thing. Absolutely.
Name a book that's helped to forge you as an entrepreneur and a leader, and why?
You said name a book?
Yes.
Okay. I'd have to say Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I know that that's such a cliche answer, but I was introduced to that book in 1999 by my dad, actually. And I can tell you that it was like a light bulb moment went off. I was in graduate school at the time for physical therapy school. And it was really that book that kind of spurred me onto my entrepreneurial journey.
Wow. I got to laugh because I'm thinking like, same for me. I didn't find Robert Kiyosaki that early, but having gone through graduate school, I know what it's like to be surrounded by a lot of poor dads.
Yes. Exactly. I mean,
right. And that was the poor dad in the book, wasn't it? His actual father, who was an academician.
Correct. And again, education is a fantastic thing to have. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it affords you many opportunities in life, but you also have to keep your eye on other things that are going to advance you in addition to your education, right? Because your real life education is probably the education that might pay you back the most.
Well, yeah, 100%. I always like to say it's the cheapest experience you're ever going to have is learning from the mistakes of someone else.
Absolutely. And if you can, and the true go-givers are really the people who are willing to share their mistakes with other people so that other people don't make those same mistakes as them, right?
Great. I think we're going to tag Bob Berg in this because he's really awesome. And
Right,
he actually does. He'll actually respond too. He's a great guy. So
it's a great book also. Not to
love it. Just read that
in one question, but yeah, it's a great book.
All right, now I want to ask you to describe a failure or misstep and what it taught you. You did talk about the flip house. Do you want to go further on something else? Or do we give you a pass? It'll be the first time I've ever given a pass in the 7.
You know what? Yeah, I can talk about another failure. Yeah. So there was another flip house toward the end of the business, and the market had shifted. We took a little longer on the flip than we needed to, and the market shifted, in the wrong direction. And which is fine because that's what sometimes happens in cyclical real estate. And we were going to break even on when we were selling the home, and even coming in a little under. And it would have meant that our investors who trusted us would not have been paid back their original investment in the property. And that's just something I wasn't okay with. So I paid both of our investors. And when I tell you they were painful checks to write, they were in terms of losing money in my bank account. But I never doubted the decision for 1 minute because it was always the right thing to do. And if you're always doing the right thing, you don't doubt it for a second.
Right. That's an amazing story. Just, having your heart in the right place sometimes can be the most important thing. Integrity. Yes. I mean, that is integrity, but I mean, just really wanting to do the right thing. Absolutely. It takes a certain sort of person. I know I told this story on the air, but if you love The Intelligent Investor, Benjamin Graham, he did the same thing. He did that in the Depression, and he probably had a lot more investors at that point because his business was just at the very, very tippy top. He made everybody whole. And I'm sure those were very painful checks to write. I know I've been in deals where somebody has been willing to buy all of the investors out. And I want to tell you, I appreciate that more than a check, 7%, 15% IRR, whether it's the pref return or whatever. When I see somebody like that they're willing to eat it,
right?
That's integrity.
Yeah. And it's somebody that you, again, can truly trust because at their worst, they're willing to put their best forward.
Yes.
For others. Yeah.
Great. That could actually be the quote to help forge our listeners as leaders and entrepreneurs. Unless you can
I just
top
made it up. That's a me original right there.
Good. I like that. I think as this show gets bigger and as we're asking better and more successful guests, I'm noticing more originals. So love it. I got to let you go. So we'll just end with my
Absolutely.
favorite final question is, how do our listeners reach out to Eric Tomei?
Oh my gosh. You know what? We are actually in the process of getting our website for Top Point Investments being made. So please don't reach out through that website because we're getting it made. But honestly, my Gmail account is probably the best way to get a hold of me. It's my first and last name, ERICTOMEI @gmail.com. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me right now.
All right, awesome. And then speaking of websites, I may be redoing my website and I may be working with 2 different capital groups soon, but I am still with Horizon Multifamily. So reaching out,
Nice.
shout out to my great partners at Horizon Multifamily if you're in the audience today, and join our multifamily investing club. So we can keep
Absolutely.
you top of mind when deals come in. So thank you, Eric, so much for sharing your knowledge and experience with our audience. And catch you on the flip side.
Thank you so much, George. I've absolutely enjoyed every minute with you, and it was a great time.
Likewise. Take care.